Welcome to Achievers with JB. I also take this opportunity to welcome our new members. Today, our topic of discussion of interest is Treasury Bills and Bonds. Treasury Bills and Bonds. This is money that we lend to government when our government has a need. It actually comes back to the community or to the people, and people put money aside and they lend it to government. It could be construction of a road, construction of a building, whatever the case. But at the end of the day, this money is put together by different investors and they lend it to government, and it is paid back after a stipulated period of time. Now, for the treasury bills, it is usually 91 to 364 days. Those are usually short term, 3 month, 6 month, 9 month. But the treasury bill bonds, those are long-term investments. Long-term investments in the sense that you put your money from 2 years to around 15 to 20 years, depending on your investment appetite. And they vary from 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years, depending on how much you want to invest and for how long you want to invest in the treasury bonds. These are government securities, and they have a system through which they work. Someone will say, how do I get my money to Bank of Uganda? Because in Uganda, it is Bank of Uganda that is in charge of the treasury bills and bonds. Well, you still need an account, and it is called a CSD account, which is the account that you use when you are investing the monies that you invest in your treasury bills, and it is the Central Security Depository account. What you do when you have an account in any of the commercial banks around, for example, Standard Chartered Bank, for example, Stanbic Bank, you approach your bank and you tell them that you're interested in investing your money into treasury bills and bonds. And what they do, they make you fill a form. They make you fill a form because you need to get the CSD account. It is those two banks that I have mentioned and others that deal in such things that are the dealers that Bank of Uganda works with, because it will be very interesting if every one of us that wanted to invest in treasury bills would walk into Bank of Uganda. So it has dealers, and those banks act as the dealers. Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, Centenary Bank, those are the dealers that Bank of Uganda deals with. So when you fill that form that your bank gives you, you fill in the details, your names, your date of birth, your account number, where you hold an account, the details from your national ID, and then you hand them over to your bank that is acting as the dealer between you and Bank of Uganda. So when they submit the data that you have given them to Bank of Uganda, you are given a CSD account. Now, that is when the process begins. When you're given a CSD account, Bank of Uganda usually comes up with a schedule that is an annual schedule, and it runs from July 1st July to 1st July the following year. And so for them, it is an auction calendar or a schedule. So what happens if you see the schedule and you are ready to invest, you then approach the bank that is acting as a dealer for you. For example, I have an account in Standard Chartered Bank, so I would still go back to Standard Chartered Bank since now I have a CSD account, and then tell them I want to invest during this time after looking at the calendar. So with that, the bank still gives me another form that is internal to the bank, and this bank has my account number, the amount of money that I want to invest during the phase that I want to invest, and then details of my national ID, because this is the form that gives them the authority to withdraw money from your account and then send it to Bank of Uganda to be invested during the period that you have chosen. Otherwise, without this form, the bank has no authority to withdraw money from your account to invest it. So after you have filled this particular form and you have given the bank mandate to withdraw money from your account, then the bank can proceed. So when this time comes, what happens is when you check your account again, you will see that that money has been withdrawn. It actually happens like a withdrawal on your account, and then Bank of Uganda submits that money to bank, the dealer bank submits that money to Bank of Uganda, and then it is invested. So for example, if you have invested in Treasury bills for a period of 6 months, at the end of 6 months, you'll see that money coming back to your account as a deposit, plus the interest that that was stipulated when the investment was being done. So when that money comes back, it is the money that you invested plus the interest that was stipulated that would be given after that period of time. So for people that invest in bonds, they invest, and the kind of interest that they get is higher. Why? Because they're handing over their money to the bank for a longer period of time, so the risk that they're taking is actually greater. But for people that invest for a shorter time, the interest is lower. So for example, if I invest for 5 years, what happens there is that at the end of every year, the bank pays me twice in a year. So there is a percentage that is taken away as a tax by the Bank of Uganda. For example, if I invest 1 million and they are giving me the interest, annual interest is 12%. That will mean 120,000. But the 120,000 is my take home throughout the year. So if they are charging me an interest or a tax of 20%, then they, from the 120, they have to reduce that 20%, which is 240,000. 120, which is 24,000. So I will get 96,000. So the 96 that comes will then be split into 2 installments. The first installment comes after the first 6 months, and the second installment comes after the next 6 months. And my initial deposit of 1 million stays with the bank. So they'll keep paying me the 48 after 6 months, 48 after second month, as the next 6 months to make the 96,000. So what that means, I keep on getting the total of 96 for the year, which is my interest, but I get 48 because it's split into 2 times for the year. So at the end of the 5 years, I would have gotten 96 times 5, but at the end of the 5 years, I would still get back my 1 million, which is my initial investment. So that is how Treasury bills and bonds work. What I've shared with you is the primary investment. There are other secondary investment avenues for the Treasury bills and bonds, but this is just for a starter because Treasury bills and bonds have actually been there for such a long time. But most of the Ugandans don't know about it. So it is high time you approached your bank and see whether it is a dealer. If you have 100,000, because that is the initial investment, if you have 100,000, you can then deposit it there, and then you begin lending to the government and earning an interest. Thank you for listening. We'll be bringing more videos.